lovely Instagram friend. Welcome to the show 40 minutes of journey, soul journey. So today our guest will be Dhyan Ji, and she'll be here in a moment. Before she joins, I want to give you a quick brief about this live, which I am conducting on regular basis. This is a space for aspiring entrepreneur, healer, coach, light workers, or mompreneur business owners to share their gift, share their expertise, share their experiences with us so that we can get benefited. Also, their gift can be shared. So yeah, this is it. So I'll invite Dhyan Ji in a moment. And hello, hello. Yes.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, how are you?
Okay, I've got a problem with my headphones though now.
Okay, so what problem you're having? Like sound problem, like some
Yeah.
issue with the you can't hear?
Hang on. Sorry.
Okay.
No, it's disconnected.
Okay, so in that case, maybe you are connected with
Okay,
headphone with
it's fine
the.
now. Sorry,
Okay, that's
technical issues.
okay. That's good. So, hey guys, so this is Dhyan Ji.
Good morning.
Namaste.
Good morning.
Good morning, and welcome to this show. And I just want to give you a quick review. Like this show is all about like for aspiring coach, healer, light workers, other business women, even the guys also can join so that they can share their gifts, their experiences, and their learning with us so that we also can be benefited. Also, we can know how you overcome all those things and what was your breakthrough and how you been through all these things and how you are helping people, and also ask you like about your offerings, courses. Like we have few questions around your offerings, like especially the Darshan thing is very quite fascinating. So it's very rare also like for these uh, people. So we'll ask about them. So this is the thing, and if you have any question with me, you can also ask in the meantime. But I'll give you the first phrase, like please go ahead and start sharing something about your life, early life especially, and how you get enlightened at the age of 6. All these things, like our audience are very curious about to know like how all things just happen. So please go ahead and take the control now.
Okay, thank you, Imran, for
Yeah.
introducing me, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to share.
You're welcome.
You mentioned that you wanted me to start with my experience when I was 6 years
Yeah.
old. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So when I was 6 at school, I was very much I've gone. When I was at school, I was bullied because I didn't fit in. I was quite different to a lot of the other children. And
Yeah.
on one day, one of the kids had written something on the wall at school, and it had really upset me. And I moved to another part of the playground to just be on my own. I was very annoyed and upset, and I couldn't understand why they'd behave this way towards me. And of course, when we're really little,
Yes.
we do take everything personally.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, I was kind of questioning, what have I done? You know, why has this happened? And I went to another part of the playground, and I started to notice that the wind was moving around me, and it was soothing me. And I kind of noticed that I had this connection with nature in that moment. I wasn't separate, and there was something in me that was being soothed by this breeze, by the wind blowing around me, even as a small
Mm-hmm.
child. And I started to
Mm-hmm.
recognize my connection with the elements, with the wind, with the trees around me as well, with the sky. And it felt like I was experiencing some kind of magic in my life. And I'd always been interested in magic, but I didn't realize that it was a real thing, you know.
Yeah.
So as I was having this experience, there was just a real knowing within me, even at that age, that I was a part of everything. And I started to play with the wind, and I was asking the wind to blow. And this might sound crazy, and I don't really care, but I was asking the wind to blow, and it was. And I asked it to stop, and there was this beautiful dance of spirit happening within me and outside of me. And as a child, you know, we're so innocent, and we find ways to play, to explore, to use our awareness creatively. It's just a very natural thing. And so I was playing with the wind, I was playing with the breeze, and it was interacting with me. Yeah, and for years I remembered this, and now I can put it into a slightly different context because I have a deeper understanding of life.
Yes.
So I was able to notice that, the trees were part of this, the sky was part of this, and I just had this infinite connection with nature. And that was really, beautiful, knowing, very comforting to know. Yeah.
At this very early age, to experience such thing, also feel it, and it's most important. You are not just feeling by yourself, also you're also getting some interaction. Like you can communicate with the nature, you can communicate with the wind, and this is so fascinating. So, like, what happened after that? Like, okay, this thing was like really phenomenal, like very like I can't even imagine this thing like which will happen at the age of me. I'll be either frightened and I'll run away from this situation. Like I'll go and call my mom, mom, there is something happening with me. Can you please come and check? But how you, what was the thing? What was that specific feeling at that moment? Like you feel that courage to face it, to play with it, and to interact with that thing. And what happened after that moment? Like how it changed your life or your perception?
Good question. So after that, obviously being 6, I wasn't thinking, oh, this is going to change my life. Um, but
Yeah.
but the main thing that happened for me was I was no longer bothered about the bullying. I was no longer bothered about the words on the wall. I didn't really care if the kids liked me or not, because I found something else that was much deeper. I found a connection with everything that was, much deeper and much more beautiful and
Yes.
totally all encompassing and comforting for me. So I found a
Yes.
lot of comfort in that. And everything else really, everything else disappeared. So
Mhm.
it didn't really matter anymore somehow. Yeah.
So you had some sort of breakthrough, or like you just unleash your care
Yeah,
around
I
all this
didn't tell
thing, and
anybody. I just kept it to myself. I didn't know how to tell anyone. I didn't know whether I needed to tell anyone. It was just my experience and my understanding. Um, it was just, just for me to understand something.
okay, that's cool. So, according to you, that was your first awakening at the age of
Yeah,
6, and yeah.
yeah, I was
So,
sorry, I was very aware, very young, that I wanted to live in a world of harmony. I wanted to live in a world where everybody got on, where love was the most important thing, which might sound a bit odd, but I was extremely aware of that from a very young age. I did have some experiences of abuse from a very young age, and so that obviously had a big impact on me as well. Yeah.
okay, that's cool. Thank you for your share. And now, Christian, like, okay, what happened afterwards? Like, how you get the uh momentum on how you get more closer to this spiritual world and how you become more like familiar with this meditation and how you fell in love with this meditation
Yeah.
technique and how you like. So please share
Okay,
something
thank
about
you.
that.
So when I was 7, I actually moved to Rajneeshpuram, Osho's commune in Oregon in America, and I lived there for 3 months. So in the
Yeah.
time that I was living there, I was really integrating this experience that I'd had as a 6-year-old. I felt that it was a time to definitely integrate that. I can look back on that and see it as a time of integration and
Yes.
a time of exploration and a lot of time on my own. In the 3 months, I spent most days on my own, which I know might sound a little crazy as well, but that was the way that the community was set up, where we all had jobs and many of the parents weren't with the children, and there were very few families on the ranch as well at Rajneeshpuram. We call it the ranch. Um, it was often, maybe one parent and a child, and some children were there on their own. So we were the only family. There was me, my 2 sisters, and both my parents. So that was quite unusual in itself, really. For me, my experience was a pleasant one. I felt safe, um, and I just explored being in the Oregon desert. Every day I would walk down by the river. I would get the bus up to the meditation hall and walk around the meditation hall, which was like this huge building, this huge open building that we would all go and congregate in, I think most evenings. And that's really where I had my first experiences of meditation, was to be in the hall. Osho was in
Nice.
silence, so he
Okay.
wasn't available to us, but we all congregated together, quite a few hundred of us, if I remember correctly, in this space. And I often used to fall asleep in that space because I felt so safe, so held, so comfortable. And that was my first experiences of meditation as a child,
Yeah.
to be in that
This
environment.
is so cool, and so nice to hear. Like at the very early age, like you had this experience and you also feel safe and you also feel held like in a safe space.
Yeah,
And also your family members, not just alone. So your family members, your siblings also are there. So definitely you feel more safer. And the environment was also very quiet, calm, and like everybody is so nice. So very good for you that you had this experience and this opportunity
yeah,
to have this thing in the
absolutely.
early age.
Yeah.
And so I also like I just want to add like yes also for me like when I do meditation like 50 to 60% like this I fall asleep, no judgment. I feel safe. I feel like so even like I'm even before starting the meditation I feel like super energetic. It's not like I'm tired, just I feel safe, like okay this is the place, like quiet. I feel calmness within my body. Is like yeah, like I just fall asleep and I also visualize something within the sleep. Maybe I dream. So this is actually a nice experience, I would say. And another thing I want to ask, like, okay, so how about your second awakening? Definitely, it will be more powerful
Yeah,
and more because you can share more and you will understand this second awakening more and also share us with us more because that will be definitely in your adult age. So
yeah,
you can.
absolutely. So really, I had many experiences over many years. Most of my life, I had experiences that I didn't understand, and didn't know to share or who to share with or how to explain them. But in 2012, by this point, I had been in a longish term relationship. I'd also got a son. I'd moved house, and my whole life had kind of fallen apart, and I was putting it all back together again. In 2012, I went through a dark night of the soul, where I was very much in my head. I was arguing with my ex. Things were very everything was very challenging and very difficult. And I knew that I didn't want to take my own life. I was very clear on that, but I also knew that I wanted to live a different way, that all the suffering that I was experiencing was too much, and I didn't feel like I was functioning properly. I wasn't able to be my full self. I wasn't giving what I was here to offer to the world. I was too much in my head. I was too much in the four walls of our house. My whole life was absorbed in my son, which was beautiful, but at the same time, I needed that space to expand in who I am, and I needed to kind of start to fulfill this purpose that I felt I'd come here for. So what happened was I was having a particularly bad day, and I'd been arguing with my ex again. It was just very, very difficult, and there were all kinds of things going on, and I was just finding life really difficult. And I went upstairs in my room, my old house, and I got down on my hands and knees. I put my hands together, and I felt like this little seed of hope within me. There was something within me that knew there was something more, there was something better. There was another way to live. I couldn't put it into words. I didn't know how I was going to be able to do
Yeah.
it, but
Yeah.
there was something there. And so I got on my hands and knees and I prayed and I said, God, please show me another way. Show me another way to live, because I don't want to carry on like this. And in those moments, without realizing what I was doing, I fully surrendered to life. I fully surrendered to God. I just gave everything to life, and I forgot myself, and I trusted. And it wasn't a kind of surrender where you think about the fact that you're going to surrender, or you plan it, or you write down something, or it's like a goal in your life. It was in that moment, I was fully with God, giving my life over to God, and there was nothing more than that I wanted in that moment than for God to take away my suffering.
Yeah, this I can relate, because also like maybe it's not my awakening. Like few months back, I was having some, like, of course, like I also went through some relationship disaster. I'll say like it's a lesson, nothing like disaster, but I was feeling like, okay, everything I was trying, like rejection, like different wise, like for project I was offering and this was rejected, and this thing I was planning to go somewhere. And I like, okay, airlines that they don't accept some COVID thing also was happening, like, okay, you can travel there. So I was feeling so terrible like it. And then I feel like, okay, why this thing? I started questioning about myself. So I joined some course like that was helping me like to understand the life more, and understand the life event, like why this happened and why this is happening, why this keep coming. So those cyclic things also I wanted to understand. Then at some point I feel like, why? So one day I was just alone in the dark room, because I travel alone, so most of the time basically. So I was feeling like, why? And then I feel like same thing, like I was saying, like, yes, I didn't feel like some hope or anything. Like I feel like, okay, why? So first question came to me like, why? Why this thing happening? So why I just don't follow the things that is achievable, without trying to do something like impossible for me, or not there. It's not like impossible, but the situation, rules and customs are like not letting me to jump into that thing. And that thing, since then I started having a feeling like I don't I don't like how I can explain. Like I started taking things in my life more easier, more nicely, like more delicately. Okay, people can behave differently without just reacting or some shout or something like this or saying something. I started responding, not just reacting. So responding, that was like a big game changer for my life.
Yeah.
So it's helped me in different way, like client, dealing with client with my parents, client with my siblings, client dealing with my current girlfriend. So everything become more and more easier and more smoother. At least I have some, not like I'm controlling, not like I'm stopping myself, but at the same time, I'm just keep moving with event. So this thing is super cool. Yep.
Good. Yeah.
Yep.
So the sort of the second part of that is after I surrendered
Yep.
and said these prayers, I was all the suffering left me, and I don't know, I can't put it into sort of time scale, but say within 24 hours of taking that moment to pray and ask God to show me another way to live, I came into a state of bliss where nothing fazed me anymore. Nothing bothered me. Nothing was too much. I wasn't in my head anymore. I wasn't arguing with my ex. I could actually see his mind, and I was
Mm-hmm.
able to see like record player of thoughts go on in our
Mm-hmm.
mind and how it can play out, and how when we connect with our own record player, if you like, of conditioning thoughts with someone else's, how that can just become so entangled and hard to get out of. So this state of bliss that came to me, I was so grateful for. It came from nowhere, and so I felt that it could go anytime. So I was very aware not to try to hold on to it, not to try and make it something. So I just allowed it to be, and I was fully aware that at some time maybe it will go the same way that it came. And it was 12 months after that when I had my next awakening experience. And that one was the one that changed my entire world and my entire understanding of life and what we are. And not just on a
Yep.
mental understanding, not from a we're all one, not from a mental idea,
Yeah.
but from a true experiential, full
Yep.
experience of what it means to be a part of everything. And I'm happy to share that if you want me to.
Yeah. So thank you for sharing this. Yeah, it's always like when you like allow ourselves to dive into things and without just putting ourselves aside, and also being true to ourselves and what we really love to our, and basically everything gets aligned. It's just magic. So it's true. Many of us, even like when I was like few years back, I was having this thing. I was like, no, no, don't, like I can't do this thing. It's not just going as I wanted, or people will say. So this is the awakening also can be part like, I feel this is my own feel like when we allow ourselves to be a true ourselves, to be true to ourselves, and without feeling being judged by people, and just be true. And that's also a part of awakening. I feel like it's we started living ourselves more,
Yeah.
like not just surviving, it's like living our life, and yeah, be more nice to people and helping people on the way, or maybe inspire people. So you are keep inspiring people, and I know like after this life, people will see and learn more about you. Many people just know like, okay, this is our Dhyan Ji, that's fine, but people wants to know more about you, how things just propagated from the very early age with your life. So people will know you more and become more inspired, and they'll live their life more freely, happily. So that's
I
cool.
hope
So
so.
now, if you can, if you can share some of your experience, like I'll come to your third awakening a bit later, but I can't wait to ask you about like Ethiopia 5G thing. So if you can share something about your Ethiopia 5G, so that would be great.
Okay. Do you want me to share a bit more about my awakening in 2013?
Yeah, sure,
Yeah.
sure. Go ahead, go
Okay.
ahead. Just finish it. And
I feel like
yeah.
it's important for people to
Okay.
know.
Good.
Yeah. So I was organizing one of my events from this is quite a few years ago now, 2013. And I was talking to a lady who I'd invited to come and speak at one of my events. And she was a spiritual teacher. And as I mentioned before, I was very much in this state of bliss at this point. And it had become my natural state. And it was such a blessing for so many reasons. And I didn't think there would be anything more that I could experience. But on this particular day, after talking to my friend, we'd fell into this space between words somehow, and I closed the laptop after our conversation, and I actually picked up my cup of tea that was by the side of me.
I forgot about my tea.
And I noticed that there was no difference between me, the cup, and the tea. And there was this very clear recognition that I was one with the cup and the tea. And I thought, what's going on? Am I on drugs or something here? What's happening? And then I looked at the mirror that was next to me, and I could see myself looking at myself from outside my body. And I thought, okay, what's happening here? And then I stood up, or I was sitting on my bed at the time. I stood up and everything disappeared. And all the walls, well, before that, all the walls in the house had started to vibrate in my room and started to vibrate and move and sort of become like particles of energy. And as that happened, everything just disappeared. It was as if, like the veil had been pulled from my eyes to the reality of what we're living, where we're living, what this is.
Something feel like this Matrix movie thing that shows like suddenly we're coming to a different reality,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
we're seeing like, this thing. Yeah, yes, please go ahead. Very interesting. Yes, please.
And as everything had disappeared, I started to receive insights. Mind is the source of all suffering. You are not your body. You are eternal. There is no death. All your worries are inconsequential in the eternity of life. And it was like insight after insight after insight, and I was laughing because I could see the humor in the way that we are so held in our lives, and we're so controlled by the way we think and what's going on in our life, and how it affects us on such deep levels. And then there is this other aspect to life, this eternal self that is totally untouched by any of that, any of our thoughts, anything that happens to us in any way. And so in those moments, I then was thanking God because I knew that something had been shown to me. I knew that I was experiencing something that I recognized as home. I recognized it, but it was like I was experiencing it again for the first time. So I decided to walk downstairs. I had no experience of walking. I felt like I flew down the stairs. Like I wasn't walking, but I was floating down the stairs. And when I got downstairs, I'd got this apple in my bag, slightly random, but there was an apple in my bag. And I took the apple out and I looked at this apple, and it was the most incredible apple I'd ever seen. It was glowing, it was alive. It was almost like I was holding the earth in my hands. And it was so beautiful, I couldn't bring myself to eat it. I was really seeing the truth of the incredible beauty and grace that is all around us in absolutely everything. You, all of you, every one of us is that beauty, is that incredible, eternal, vibrant light, just like the apple. But most of the time, we can't see it because we have this veil covering our
Well,
eyes, and we're unable to see the true beauty of life and the true beauty and grace of God that we, each and every one of us, is. So this was a huge awakening for me. It was very simple. It was very beautiful. I wasn't afraid. I was like a child in Wonderland watching everything unfold in front of me. I was ready. I was ripe. I was like a peach on a tree ready to fall and just experience.
fantastic. So amazed by this thing, like super cool. It's like many of the time we really don't focus on, not like focus, I said, not don't observe the thing around us, like how beautiful things are, like because all particles basically, like it's not like defining. How can I say, like it's a part of the whole sacred thing, like the center, right? Everything, like the beautiful apple, everything. But you find, you feel that thing, like okay, it's so nice, and why it's so nice? Maybe there is some existence of something, the path, the center, the source, So
Yeah.
you feel that through that thing. So this is super important. Many of us also find many nice things, like when we travel, we see many nice things. When I see, like just looking at the sky, I feel sometimes the presence of the God. So this is the thing. It's super powerful. Yes, you don't need, just down. There's lots of traffic and thing. I just look ahead. I see the blue sky and the ray of the sun. I feel like yes, that's cool. This makes me happy. So I didn't even used to look like this, but I recently started feeling like this. Just change the perception, change the direction of our observation. This way is like block. Other way is a window. I look at the window, something like this. So it's changing the life. So it's super cool. Yeah,
Lovely. Yeah, this is
yeah,
it. In those moments, life can show us the truth if we're willing to
yeah,
see and we're open to seeing and we're not fully in our mind. And this is the state of meditation. But the truth about meditation is it's our natural state of being. And what
yes,
happens is we become so conditioned as human beings from a very young age that we forget that state of awakening, enlightenment, meditation, whatever you want to call it, is something
yeah,
that we end up looking for and striving for, when
yeah.
actually it's what we are naturally.
Yeah. But when I'm saying and listening to you and when I'm sharing, I'm having a full body goosebump.
Yeah.
This is very amazing. Like okay, I'm feeling like a bit of cold, not like cold, but like a bit of feeling like tingling effect and this whole body goosebump. I'm saying it, so I'm feeling. Yeah, super cool. So it means like something around us. Yeah. So this is cool. So now I feel like now we can move ahead to the Ethiopia
Yeah.
5D thing.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
Yes, super.
So just
Okay, let me check the signal a bit before you start. I don't want.
okay.
Like sorry for this interruption, little interruption, is basically because like I can't trust on Wi-Fi. So
Yeah.
I conduct all the live through the mobile data. So I just make sure that the data is
Yeah, of
available
course,
data.
yeah.
So now go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so recently I started to do my events again. I ran them previously for 5.5 years at a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful place called Blissland, which was in Congleton
Mm-hmm.
in the UK. And now I'm running them again, and I've called them the same name, Utopia,
Mm-hmm.
but now they're called 5D, because it is my understanding that as we all move through this human evolution that is happening now, that we are all a part of, we are moving into a time and creating a new way of being. And this new way of being is embracing community and love at the level of the fifth dimension of living. And this fifth dimension, it isn't something that we're going to get to or that we're going to strive for. It's what we are. It's that state of meditation, and it's living in harmony and truth and integrity and love and community. It's all of those things, and walking our truth.
Nice.
And
So
gathering,
yeah,
gathering together and celebrating life. That is what it means to be living in the fifth dimension of experience.
so if you can share some like a quick sneak peek about the event, like how many people normally you are gathering, what sort of event you are hosting, whether
Yeah,
there'll be
well,
some singing or some dancing, something like living the life kind of things there. So
yeah,
also
okay.
meditation, of course. Yeah, healing
So
process will be involved. So if you can
part of
do some
the
touch.
part of the events
Yeah.
is that I offer Darshan healing and
Yes,
a
Darshan.
deep meditation
Darshan.
process that helps you to
Darshan.
connect with the truth of who you are, and it helps
Mm-hmm.
to energize your awakening, and
Yes,
it also
that's
helps
all.
to open the light keys within your DNA, because at the moment the earth is being flooded with light, and so our bodies are changing, we are having new experiences, we are eating differently, living differently, and the sun is providing that light, and light is information. So we are
Yeah.
absorbing light from the sun, and it is helping, sorry, it's helping to unlock these light codes in our DNA. So some of the parts of ourselves that we haven't been using are now coming to light, so to speak. So it is the enlightenment of humanity, the awakening of humanity, the evolution of humanity, is all these things. And it's very natural for a lot of people. Some people are noticing it more than others. Some people aren't having the same experiences at all, and they're very much staying in the 3D, 4D, slightly lower vibrations. And that's perfect for
Yeah.
them. That's perfect for their experience, for their soul journey. For many of us who are aware of what's going on in the world right now, who are living a different experience, communicating a different experience, and creating the new earth together,
Yeah.
we are living from that place of 5D now. We are absorbing more and more light. We've changed, many of us have changed the way we eat, the way we exercise, the way we live on every level,
Yeah.
and the way that we are investigating who we are and why we are the way we are. And we're doing the shadow work, we're really exploring what it means to be a
Yeah.
spiritual being living in a human body on every level.
Yeah. True, true, true. Like I said, I was not into this, but I used to help like for coach healer to
Yeah,
get more sales to their advertising, building their website thing. But recently, like in recent like 3, 4 years, I started getting to learn more about this healing thing. Not like I'm practicing. I just love, I just love those things,
yeah,
how they live and their thinking, like how they observe the world and how they treat other people and how much they love themselves. This is super important. I see like they started loving themselves more. This is many of us like I see like we can't love ourselves as we are. We feel they're this, they're this. We keep comparing, and we started hurting us more. So I see like how they live and their thinking and how they're dealing with the event, like world event happening, even like this COVID thing, how they are
Yes.
doing without getting panic, like without getting panic, they're finding the reason and they're asking, questioning, like
Yes.
why?
Yeah.
Now these are the things. So people are also they're also rediscovering, like rediscovering themselves more. They're getting closer to their own purpose. So things are changing. More people
Absolutely.
are getting married and they're becoming like conscious, aware, and like spiritual in a sense, like not like being defined by this religion and this and borderless thing is becoming more like you are in some place. I am in Kenya now, right? I'm traveling, so still we are connecting together. So sooner it will be more open and more we'll have a bigger community and we'll build our new world together in a way so that we'll be more happy.
Yeah.
Our future generation will be feel more safe. And yeah,
This is it.
this is the
It's a time
yeah,
for the systems that we've known that
yeah,
that have held us in this conditioning
yeah,
and
yeah,
in our own minds, if you like. It's a time for many of those structures that we have felt were safe for us because it's something that we were used to, for those structures to collapse as we recognize our inner
yeah.
freedom, and our inner freedom becomes our outer freedom. And we live from
True,
that
true.
place. And that's what it means to live from a 5D life, if you like, is to live from a place of freedom and
And
knowing.
also, yeah, super cool. And I just want to add a bit, like about when you're saying like this sunlight thing, it just came to my mind. Like, yes, like all the living organs except human, very conscious about the sunlight. Like they, like just think about the leaf, tree. They take everything from the sun. Yes,
Yeah.
they are taking a little bit of water from the ground, but some let's say some of the trees, like some of the what against orchid, they don't have any leaf. They totally depending on the moisture, the humidity around and the sun, and they are having the finest flower. Right? So
Absolutely.
how this thing happening? So definitely sun is a source, right? A big source of energy,
Yeah.
and we are all energy.
Yeah.
So as a human, we're also energy. So if we are just not getting close to the sun or not putting ourselves like unleashing ourselves to sun, so we are basically missing many of the maybe the element that is very much necessary for us. And this all the things just happen. I don't want to direct mention about this thing, like like we are defined to be in the room, don't get close, and like we
Yeah.
are also restricted from having some human interaction. This is very much uh, our basic rights, right? To meet people, to hug people, to greet people, even just see each other. This is the thing, friends, family. So, well, but things are changed. Many rebels are there, nice
Yes,
little rebels
absolutely.
around the globe, and
Absolutely.
they took many rebellious action, and things are getting very normal. Just imagine 1 year back, and now it's very big difference. Many countries are also opening up, and things are not anymore like okay, be in the room, put some veil on your mouth only. So that kind of things is stopping. So
Yes.
it's super cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we're really we're living in very challenging times in the sense that
Challenging. Very challenging.
but at the same time as there is challenges and obstacles, is a real strength in it to help us to realize who
Yeah.
we are, to awaken
Yeah.
from that
Yeah.
illusion of what we are being told is the truth of our reality. So
Yeah.
it's a great opportunity in very difficult times. And something else I just wanted to mention is our gifts, our God-given gifts, talents, and abilities are coming into play right now. So you will begin to
Yeah.
experience maybe even forms of telepathy, clairsentience,
Yeah.
claircognizance, all these sixth senses and more many people who are watching this and maybe who don't even get to see this will be experiencing their
Yeah.
lives on a different level. And this is the evolution that we are experiencing, because we are spirit in form, and our evolution now is to become more of that and to hold more of that in the body. So we have
Yep.
this awareness of the connection that we all have together, but it's not just a mental awareness, it's a true experience daily of the connection that we have on a deep level, and with God. I mustn't forget that.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes, thank you. So, like we have some limited time. I just don't want to take much of your time. Just to catch up with some of my question around
Yeah.
your thing. So if you can quickly answer those, maybe we can have another session. Maybe you can invite me on your live. So I'll ask you question more. So now the question come, like the burning question. So if you can tell us some of your like top meditation technique, like let's say how we deal with this current situation, what meditation we can do. So
Okay.
this current world changing and how things are going, how to be present, how to remain present, and also not get triggered that much with this all the things happening around us.
Yeah.
So what specific meditation we can do on regular basis or some time,
Great.
so that we can be present to ourselves.
Great question. I would say the first thing that anyone can do is to
Yeah.
connect with their breath. So
Yeah.
begin to become conscious of your breath. Your breath is always happening. Breathing's an easy thing usually, and it's something that just happens very naturally, and we don't have to make any effort. But
Yeah.
if we can be very aware of it, then that brings us straight into the moment, straight with what life is showing us at any point in the moment. So that is a daily practice of meditation, to become more and more aware of the breath.
Okay, so you mean like something like five deep breath or some
No,
conscious breath?
no,
What is that?
just literally stopping, like right now, to stop, to feel how whatever is going on in the body, just
Yeah.
for a moment, to connect with the breath, to bring the breath down into the belly, to breathe into the belly, and just to feel the state of the body, noticing the mind, noticing anything that's going on, any sensations, any feelings, emotions, and just to bring your full awareness back to your body. Because as you bring your full awareness and your attention back to your body, then you are
Yeah.
present. You are present
Yeah.
without any effort. You are right here, right now.
Yep. Okay, so this the thing we can do. It's easy, like you can do any place, anywhere,
Yes,
even where.
exactly.
Just just
You can,
just do it.
yeah.
And what are the other thing? Like this is one thing. So how? What are the thing you
The
can
other
give some
thing
advice? But
is to
yeah.
feel your emotions. It's vital to be able to feel your emotions and process them in the moment. Then you are a master of your emotions. You are not constantly reacting to every single thing that happens to you. Then you respond to life.
Yeah. Yes. True.
So feeling is something that's very underrated. Most people go through their lives in a bit of a daze. After a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, they just get on with the day. They don't ever sit and feel what's going on within them. And often, if there are feelings that come up, they reach for, alcohol, sex, drugs, the social media, whatever it might be, to escape what they feel. And not feeling our emotions is the biggest cause of addiction. And it's something that we're not taught. So it's very important. And this is something that I teach and then I help people with. And I bring people into a space of meditation where they are able to really feel what's going on with them and release. There are big releases that can happen in that space. Big letting go, big clearings, releasing of trauma, all these kind of things that we've held on to for a very, very long time.
Yeah, so this is cool. So now if you can share some of your, like, if you have any course or like whether you provide any one-to-one, something like this, that would be great.
Thank you. Yes, I have my events, but they are based in the UK at the moment. If anybody wants to work with me, then I assist with the awakening journey. I assist with releasing trauma and difficult experiences through the exploration of meditation. I bring people into that space of present awareness, which is very healing for the body. So, and people can work with me on anything that's going on in their lives. I'm available for one-to-ones and I can work through Skype, phone. Yeah, there's many ways to get hold of me.
That's cool. So like audience, after this live finish, I'll get the link, like how you guys can reach to Dhyan Ji and how you can set an appointment and learn more, maybe have some quick clarity call with her to learn more about her offerings, her this different package. And yeah, you can go ahead. I'll share this thing in the description of the post, and I'll also share this recording to the Facebook. Both of our Facebook will share. You'll find also my Facebook, also on the Angie's Facebook. Yeah, so this is it. And I think one last thing. I think, okay, about the third awakening, because like first awakening, second awakening, now the third awakening. If you just touch base on the third awakening, that would be the end.
Yeah.
We'll cut it. Yeah.
So there was my first awakening when I was 6.
Yeah.
And that was in the 80s, early 80s. Then my second one in 2012, and then my third one in 2013. And then I had another experience in 2017, which was a deeper awakening, in the sense that there was another realization that we exist before mind. So we are not our minds. We're not our suffering, but what we are exists before mind. There's a bit more to that, but I can't remember it all right now. But yeah, the main thing that happened in 2013 was I had an experience of not being in the body at all, and waking up one morning not being able to feel my body. And actually, for a little while, wondering if I'd left the body completely, and having to ask myself,
I'll be screamed at. Oh, what's happening with me?
It was very strange. And I actually went in to see my son to just kind of check that I was still here. And I remember going into the bathroom, and my hand reached up to get my dressing gown, and I was like, oh, whose hand's that? Like, what's going on here? But of course it was attached to my body. But I had an even a deepening into the previous experiences. And this is something that I must say, that there is no one place that we get to. So it isn't I'm awakened or I'm enlightened or whatever you want to call it. It's a process of remembering and realizing who we are at the deepest level. And it never stops. The awakening continues for as long as you are in the body. When you leave the body, that's a whole other experience. But whilst you're in the body,
this this is the fun. It's like always something is there. It's nothing like
yeah,
we figured out everything. No, there is
no,
an infinite opportunities. Like see more, find more, learn more, remembering more,
yeah,
and some people are also having some past life things.
yes,
So ancestral thing also they can figure out slowly, slowly. It's like digging deep. The more you'll start learning and figuring out things, you'll learn more. It's like it's like a digging a hole. So once you're digging, basically you are also upgrading your spirit. So you keep learning more about yourself, and you feel more
yeah.
encouraged, and you keep like bringing something more. Like, oh yeah, that's cool, that's cool, that's cool, and that's how we end up reach out the end of our life. Like rather than becoming like okay, this is all like no fun and nothing and no excitement. But once you get this point, like okay, there's more things to understand, more things to figure out
Mm.
about ourselves, our emotion, our life, how people are reacting, how people are behaving. There's the whole game
Yeah,
to learn more and to understand more. Yeah.
with the path of spiritual awakening, there's an emptying that happens. We empty out a lot of what we believe ourselves to be. We empty a lot of our experiences. Most people in their awakening, they release the past self. They release most of who they believe themselves to be before that moment. And there is a rebirth that happens because the recognition is so strong that you cannot go back to who you were before. It's simply impossible. There's no way to forget once you remember. It is
Yeah.
a new life from that experience.
Yeah. So this is it's super cool. And I know like I can feel more. I try sometimes to learn more, so that's why also another reason like I'm inviting people like you so that I can learn more and understand more about life. And same way more people can be benefited. This is the main reason about this, right? And this thing happened like in a fun way. Like I was having a client call, like, and I was helping her to do like how to do Instagram live and just doing testing, and that thing just happened.
Oh.
And since then I have been conducting like almost every 2 3 days there is someone is I say, hey Imran, can I join your live? It's super cool, nice, and it's not that typical type of thing, not that very formal. It's more like casual. Just be yourself and share what you are and what you're offering. That's it. So,
It's a
so
great
thank you.
idea.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks for joining and thanks for accepting the invitation. I also show the interest and sharing lots of cool thing about yourself, about your life and your experiences and your offerings. So I hope many of the audience who will be watching this or will be watching in future as a replay, they'll be benefited and they'll be feel like okay, you are not alone or we are not alone. So you'll feel like okay, there are many people around us like who are same like us. So no, there is nothing to feel like okay, maybe I'm different or nothing. No, we are all all unique. So that's it. And you can always reach out to Dhyan Ji through her Facebook or Instagram. And also in the description, I'll in a later period, maybe next hour, I'll add her contact details, like how we can reach out to her, and maybe some of her course or some one-to-one session details. And yeah, so that's it. And if you have any question, also you can ask me, and I'll channel it to Dhyan Ji. So thank you so much. And thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for
Thank
joining,
you.
and it was nice to see you and interview you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice
You
day.
too. Thank you so
Bye.
much. Take care.
Yeah. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.